want to tell you a story today about how storytelling might support patient-led change across the palliative care ecosystem. Once upon a time, I volunteered in a hospice day therapy unit. COVID came and the unit closed its doors temporarily, so I started an online patient support group. Members talked about the diminished identity terminal illness brings. By identity, I mean the kind of person one is recognised as being at a given time and place. Diminished identity links to a decreased sense of agency, the ability to make a difference to your own life and others' lives. Changing something they cared about helped restore group members' sense of agency and identity. Could patients be supported to lead change across the palliative care ecosystem? Bronfenbrenner's work helped here. He claims human development relies on repeated interactions, proximal processes, between people and their environment, an ecosystem. I wondered where in Bronfenbrenner's ecosystem patients could lead change and what could help them to do so. My research project was born. My research aim was to explore how patient-led change can be enabled across a palliative care ecosystem through a two-phase iterative inquiry. Phase 1 appraised evidence of the barriers to and enablers of patient-led change. Phase 2 explored storytelling's potential to support palliative care patient-led change, developed a theory about it, and produced recommendations on how to enable patient-led change across the palliative care ecosystem. I used an onion metaphor to summarise my research approach. This research is rooted in my respect for agency and a constructivist view of reality. This led me to a qualitative approach, revealing individuals' inner worlds, a literature-based research strategy aligned with my aims and objectives. My interest in a multi-layered account recommended a thematic analytical approach, whereas narrative synthesis seemed appropriate for an exploration of storytelling. Following the graphic medicine movement, I produced my research report in both words and pictures. In Phase 1, I retrieved 35 relevant reports and produced an ecosystem-based thematic analysis. The theme of meaning-making dominated reports exploring the palliative care microsystem. Meaning can be made by exercising control over identity, a determination to be a person first and patient second, and through peer connection, giving something back and supporting peers. Patient agency is foregrounded in the mesosystem. Understanding patients as active agents lets them problem solve alongside clinicians. However, societal structures can be oppositional, blocking people from taking planned action. In the exosystem, individuals connect with external healthcare organisations. Here, person-centred care situates the individual as leader of their life project, although organisational agendas may still dominate. In the macrosystem, understanding death as a social phenomenon challenges a dominant biomedical perspective. Acknowledging death's inevitability helps us understand it as a shared social process with patients and health professionals working collaboratively to maximise quality of life and death. Although I now understood the context and potential for patient-led change, I still didn't know how this change could be enabled. Bronfenbrenner argues a process-person-context research model is needed. Phase 1 looked at person and content, but not process. Storytelling was mentioned as one such process in phase 1. In phase 2, I therefore used a systematic review to explore how storytelling might support palliative care patient-led change. 36 relevant reports were found. An evaluation revealed 3 key themes. The first, renewing a sense of self and agency, showed that stories offer the sick person a distinctive voice and the potential for action. Patients use their unique story to change the meaning and impact of illness. Brunner summarises this. The second theme is catalysing action. Stories provide a call to action, inviting patients to contribute to ecosystem-wide change. They inspire patients to see differently, contribute to policy agendas, and imagine alternative futures. The third theme is establishing a relational approach to change. Storytelling connects teller and listener. Meaning is constructed through a dialogic process where they engage with the story and with one another, using different forms of argument to challenge the dominance of metrics. From this, I developed a theory about how storytelling might support patient-led change across the palliative care ecosystem. In the microsystem, storytelling helps people explore their values and regain control of their life. It helps them decide and articulate what they want and imagine how they might achieve it. In the mesosystem, storytelling helps people resist the challenge of organisational norms to make their desired change, using their agency to forge a way forward. In the exosystem, storytelling helps people penetrate external networks to challenge the status quo, setting collective agendas for change. Whereas in the microsystem, telling counter stories helps people challenge societal norms and suggest alternative ways of seeing. I therefore made 4 recommendations. Support the development of a deep understanding of the palliative care ecosystem. Challenge the prevalent views of patients with a terminal diagnosis as unfit to lead change. Develop tools to support patients in strategic storytelling and extend the scope of research on patient leadership in palliative care. So, what's in the next chapter? I intend to produce written and visual publications from this research, pilot a Patients Leading Change initiative, apply to do a PhD, and for funding to take the work further forward. Any collaborators are very welcome. So this is the end of the story for now. Thank you for listening.